Now, regarding provision for employees and of services benefits, still there are companies which does not keep provision for end of service benefits. It's actually an important thing to keep the provision complying the UAE labor laws. Now, the tax authority may not accept, because the companies nowadays are actually, some companies are actually recognizing the expenses on a payment basis. And you have to keep in mind that the tax authority may not accept expenses for the previous year if you are claiming gratuity on payment basis. So our advice is actually to accrue this in the books of accounts and keep proper computation for this. Another thing which we come across during our audit is actually, in most of the cases, there is no adequate supporting documents available to substantiate the basic salary, date of joining, etc. Now, most of the cases, salary paid are actually in excess of the salary paid is actually excess of the amount which is shown in the computation. Now, you have to either amend the employment contract or create a policy to issue the increment letters. Now, also we have seen cases where the companies are using employees of related parties in the company. So you have to make sure that the provision that you create in your books of accounts is for the employees which is under your visa, okay, and not for the related, not for the employees under the related parties visa. Regarding loans from banks and financial institutions, companies should ensure that the loan is obtained in the name of the company. Similar to what we were discussing earlier, there are cases where the loan is actually taken in the name of related party, but it's enjoyed by the company and hence it is recognized as loan in the company books of accounts. So these need to be regularized. Now, you need to think of charging this interest, because FTA can claim that this is not your loan and hence you cannot charge interest in the books of accounts. So this can be questionable. Now, regarding the revaluation, if there is any loans in foreign currency, this has to be revalued at the closing central bank rate. Now, also we have seen cases that company does not have the copy of facility letters or the copy of repayment schedule for vehicle loan or term loans, etc. And without which the company is not able to identify how much interest they should charge to the P&L. Now, you should keep or arrange all these documents so that in case of any queries from FTA, you can submit it. Now, for interest on loan, you have to make sure that you accrue it until the financial year end. And also, in other cases where the facility is being enjoyed between the related parties, like there is a joint policy and all the related parties are included in it, and the charges will be accounted in a single company. So in all those cases, you have to make sure that proper allocations or our recharge is being made to the other related parties, considering the enjoyment of loan. Now, the other section is related party. This actually we have already covered in the earlier slide, so we are not going to discuss on it in detail. So these are some areas which you need to take care regarding the related parties. Now, regarding the trade payables, similar to what we have discussed in receivables, first you have to make sure that the payables are actually, take the list of payables and check whether these are actually payables. Okay, and if there is foreign currency payables, you have to make sure that you are revaluing it at the closing rate published by the central bank. Now, in this case also, we have seen payables are being settled directly by the related party or by the shareholders. So our advice is in all those cases, either you regularize those transactions or you make sure that you have proper receipt from the supplier admitting that they have actually received this amount. So all these questions you have to expect in the corporate tax era. Now, regarding the accrued expenses, now you have to make sure that all expenses which is incurred in 2023 are being properly accrued in the books of accounts, and you have to make sure that you accrue all the expenses on time and don't delay the accounting of expenses just to have a corporate tax advantage, which will come under Article 50, which will be treated as a tax abusive transaction. Now, all recurring expenses, you need to make sure that you properly accrue this in the books of regular expenses such as electricity, telephone, cleaning, etc. So all this need to be accrued on a timely basis. Now, regarding cost of revenue and revenue, a company should make sure that the company matching concept is followed by the company. And so you know what is matching us. So the revenue and all the corresponding costs should be accounted in the same financial year. Now, the company have to, this is actually in case of construction companies or companies having monthly billing, quarterly billing like that. So you need to check the contracts, PO and agreements to ensure that the revenue is recognized on a timely basis. Now, cases where milestone billing is there, you have to ensure that the revenue is recognized as per the milestone completed, along with the documentary evidence. So how much you recognize the revenue, you have to make sure that you have adequate supporting documents to substantiate the revenue recognition. And in all those cases, you have to make sure that the corresponding cost is also accounted in the books of accounts. Now, if there is any revenue which need to be deferred to the next financial year, you have to defer it. Don't recognize all the revenue in 2023 just to have a corporate tax advantage. This will make you in trouble. Now, regarding free zones, we have already discussed, like 0% incentive will be available only for qualifying income of a qualifying free zone person. Now, conditions, etc., which has to be satisfied, have been already discussed in the last webinar. So we are not going to discuss it here, but the conditions, etc., have been displayed. Now, for free zones, we would like to address some other points actually. Economic substance is actually going to be very crucial for the free zone companies, and substance over from approach has to be followed. Now, you need to check whether you have enough resources in the free zone company. You have adequate staff, adequate assets, office space, and the major core income generating activities are being taken place in UAE. So you have to ensure all those things if you are a free zone company. And now, if you have qualifying income and non-qualifying income, you need to plan your accounting in order to segregate the cost against qualifying income and cost against the non-qualifying income. And for qualifying free zone companies, you have to keep in mind that you do not have a threshold of 375,000. That means any taxable income generated, you will be subject to 9% corporate tax. Also, you have to keep in mind that law does not have much information about what is qualifying income, economic substance, condition, etc. And you should watch for regular updates to understand the implication and how it is going to affect the business. And all the tax benefits available to the free zone company is for doing business complying the free zone regulation. So in case you are doing an activity which is not permitted by the free zone, then there may be restrictions in treating you as a qualified free zone person. Now, company need to think whether they need to elect as a qualified free zone person or to elect as a normal taxable person. And it depends on various factors such as whether you are planning to be part of a tax group or whether you have adequate substance, etc. Regarding offshore, law has not specifically addressed the status of offshore. In our view, offshore companies will be treated in par with other free zone companies. But offshore companies are unlikely to meet the substance requirements because they cannot take staff, they do not have office, etc. So you'll have to see in which category you come, and you have to decide how you want to proceed further on this. Now, the last section is actually tax planning. During this period, you can do many tax planning. An example is given here, and in the example, what we state is, if you are a mainland company and your majority of revenue or substantial revenue is being generated from a generator outside UAE, and you can consider creating a free zone company to transfer the outside UAE businesses to it. So it may be treated as a qualifying income. But when you create a free zone company to transfer this, you have to make sure that there is adequate substance in the free zone and other conditions of qualifying free zone person and qualifying income should be satisfied. Now, what you have to keep in mind, since the difference between tax planning and tax evasion is very thin, you must always consult some experts before taking any such crucial decisions, because if a decision is taken wrong, you will be in trouble. So you have to make sure that you consult with some experts before taking any such decisions. So that is end of our session today. Now we will take some Q&A questions.